are here and we are ready to look at our very first RV. Exciting! Well, I don't want to show you inside people's private things, and we don't own anything yet. So here we are at the end of touring the very first RV we are going to look at, or that we've looked at. So yeah, it's the beginning. And the adventure continues. We are leaving the house for RV Research Day 2. Okay guys, sorry for whispering, but the guys are in the back looking at the rest of this RV. This is not our RV. Just letting you know, we're being polite right now and listening to the rest of it. But right before we got to this one, okay, we saw one that was magic. And if you follow me regularly, I will probably go over the symbolisms and all the reasons and ways the universe gave me signs that the one that we saw right before this one was the one. So I think we're gonna head back to that one and take care of business. I am so hot and I am running out of socials and running out of spoons, and I want to go back to the RV that we just saw. Sorry for that mess up there. And I told Antonio via text politely, and he has agreed. And now we are trying to exit from here kindly from the man behind us who will not stop talking. Okay, neurotypicals, I tried to use your signaling. I swear that I did. I said, oh babe, we've got to go. We have someplace else we need to be. To which Antonio played the game and said, oh yes, you're right, Becca, we do. Hey sir, we gotta get going because we have other RVs to look at. He is still talking. It is so rude. If I am using your signals, neurotypicals, please don't get mad at, and you don't hear them, rather, right? So if I'm using your language and you don't hear me, and then I have to speak to you in my language, an autistic language, please don't tell me I'm rude, because it's about to get rude up in this piece. This is not my RV behind us. So now I went over there and said, babe, we really have to go now. It's not funny anymore. Let's go. We're not going to get where we need to be. Just like that, like an angry wife. And I came back to the car. I fucking started it. I fucking started it. So I'm sitting outside right now, looking a little crazy because we were just packing and stuff. But I really wanted to talk about this, so I don't know if I have to do a trigger warning to talk about poops, but I don't know if it grosses you out. Trigger warning, poops coming. But I wanted to talk about it because, like, the whole point of doing this vlog and the whole point of recording this whole thing is to talk about the hard stuff and the gross stuff and the realities of what it's like to be an autistic adult taking on this gigantic challenge. And so I wanted to share this piece with you, which is that as many of you know, but many of you don't, those of us who are autistic live with a lot of trauma and a lot of anxiety and a lot of unresolved stress, I want to say. And so over the course of time, of my lifetime, of course, my poor stomach has taken the brunt of my anxiety and stress. It began early on with having to have my gallbladder removed at 22, which helped some, but also screwed up my stomach worse and my digestion worse, and it really limited my diet in a lot of ways. And I had to lose a lot of safe foods when that happened, and it was really frustrating. So ever since then, so I'm now 46, so that was when I was 22. So for the last 24 years, I've had a shit stomach, and it just gets progressively worse for me as I get older. And I feel like the realization that I have EDS, or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, for those of you who don't know, has really hit me at this age. So like, I've always had the symptoms. I've always been hyperflexible. I've always had stomach issues. I've always had headaches. I've always had these other weird symptoms, but I was young, and so when things would happen, I bounced back really fast. And so it was annoying, but not terrible. Well, in adulthood, that EDS stuff, your body doesn't recover as fast. And when you hurt yourself, those injuries don't dispel so fast. And it's that much more stressful and that much harder to recover when you're getting older. And so as we're going through this process, even though I don't feel outward anxiety, like I'm not sitting here saying to you guys, oh, I'm so nervous about this, I'm so nervous about that, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't that, but there's like internal dysregulation from the disruption in any routine that I had, the packing up of things, deciding what to keep, what not to keep, what's important, what's not important, right? And so I'm sitting out here because I'm sweating to death, even though it's probably one of the coolest days we've had in a really, really long time. But I'm sweating to death anyway because I'm in perimenopause, which nobody talks about, being autistic, or people are finally starting to talk about, right? Getting older and aging on the spectrum, and menopause and perimenopause and pregnancy and all of those things. So I'm in perimenopause. Like my mom, I'm early into perimenopause a little bit. And it's really annoying. And I'm hot a lot of the time. I was already somebody who struggled with temperature regulation and somebody who struggled with being hot in general, with a preference of being cold, and now I'm hot all the fucking time and I can't stand it, and it makes me feel like a crazy person. And the EDS makes it difficult to temperature regulate. With the perimenopause on top of it, it can be miserable sometimes. And then, you know, loaded with the being overheated, of course, internally I must be anxious because inside my head is making my stomach kind of crazy. And so I just went to the bathroom, I gotta say, you guys, for like the 4th or 5th time this morning alone. And it's annoying and it's painful and it's exhausting for me. And it makes me sweat and it makes me hot and all of those things. And because it's so intrinsically attached to the anxiety that I'm not aware of that I'm having, no matter what I eat or what I do about the food situation, it doesn't change that, right? So I don't know, here's to pooping, because at least, you know, I know where it's why, right? And I'm not running to the doctor's office, and I'm not other things, but that's my reality. That's a reality for us as we kind of go about our lives. And so, is it IBS? Is it the Ehlers-Danlos? Is it just anxiety? Is it the fact that I don't care. My stomach is a hot mess all the time. Fortunately, I love and live with someone whose stomach is also a hot mess. And so we share that with each other, the discomfort, the frustration, all of it. I don't know. It's just a piece of this whole puzzle. And there's Gus just being the cutest Gus. Are you the cutest Gus ever? Yes, you are. He's so cute. All right. And so I just wanted to take a few minutes to kind of just share that with you, because I'm not having a meltdown. I'm not crying. I'm not whatever. But instead, I'm like in the bathroom every 5 minutes. So it's still there. It's still happening. It's just not like forward facing. It's just not like right here. You know what I mean? Tis I. Oh, that's crooked. Okay. So, I am sitting here in the car. Antonio and I are officially back down in Denver, because it is RV day. We are picking up the RV today, and of course I am anxious as all fucking whatever. I'm a little bit freaking out because it's a lot of money and it's a big life change. It's a lot of money. Mostly it's a lot of money, and that's how it feels right now. You know, it's a big risk, and I talk to you guys a lot about the risk of things and taking risks, and how, you know, when you're about to take a risk and when you're chasing new goals and things like that, how, you know, you're in that doorway and there's a moment where you must step out of that doorway and into the risk, right? You must like officially take a step that puts you at risk, but the whole point of a big risk is the big reward, and that's what I'm really chasing, is the big reward. And so today is my doorway moment. Today is for me, right? I don't know when that will be for Antonio. Perhaps it's already occurred. Maybe for him it was I don't know, selling the business maybe was for him, you know, his moment. But for me, this is it. This is my doorway moment, where once I take this step and we actually give this man money for this RV, we're in. We are in. There's no turning around. There's no whatever. And so, you know how nervous you get before you do something like that? That's how anxious I am. So we have gone for a little bit of safe foods. So I hate to admit it, but as a child that grew up in the 80s and early 90s, I'm a McDonald's autistic. And so many of us are McDonald's autistics because what? Safe foods are safe foods because they're always the same, and McDonald's is one of those places where it's been always the same for a really long time. So that's where we stopped for breakfast, just for a little bit of kind of foodness, sugar, whatever, fuel. So we'll be leaving here from McDonald's, heading over to the gentleman's house, who's the couple who's selling us the RV. We're gonna go to the bank and do a wire transfer. And then Antonio's gonna spend some time learning a little bit about the RV and what the man has to show him about how little things work. And then I will be driving old Jeep, which is what we are in right now, as I follow Antonio in the RV. It will officially then be ours. And then I will start filming it. Here comes Antonio. He's on his way back to the car. And so we are momentarily going to drive to this gentleman's house. Wish us luck, you guys. Here we go. Here she is, the arrival of the RV onto our property. And she is green, you guys. Those of you that follow me regularly will know what I mean. But take a look at that. It's huge. It looks even bigger now that it's here. It's humongous. For size reference, that's my Jeep. So yeah, it's huge. I can't wait to take you guys inside. All right, you guys, we are in it. Tonight is night one inside the RV. Our officially our bedroom furniture is now in a pod down in Denver, and we have moved in for the night here